So can you tell me a little bit about the car?
So this is actually my personal car. I had this actually car for pretty good a while, and then a friend of mine actually just thought, Kenji actually, who is actually owner of a Gritty, asked us to say, hey, can we use your car to actually just do some R&D?
Right.
And then we actually just built our crate motors, which is actually just our 2JZ and then RB. These are actually just what's actually on this currently on the motors and then on the car. We're using it actually for just kind of a R&D purposes. We have actually our new lineup of turbochargers.
That's these here.
And then we have actually just 8 different models and just different sizes.
Okay.
We wanted to kind of actually just show a different way of actually just selling them to the customers to say, hey, you buy the turbochargers, but this is rated for 600 horsepower or whatever that would be. Right. You're still not really sure if it's going to be doing that or not. I mean, so you put it on the car, you're not going to do any of that, and then you're going to have actually kind of, not saying a bad investment, but you purchase something that either right or wrong, but some salesman might have sold it to you. That,
right.
So with us, we wanted to kind of show every single lineup of the turbocharger. We put it on this car and we just test it. So we'll have, one of actually a 54 millimeter made 600 horsepower to our 78 millimeters now. It's making 1200 horsepower.
So that's what this car is making right now? It's right at 1200 horsepower?
So we actually just have a turbochargers lineup up to 88 millimeters. So we can go actually 1500, 1600s, but majority of actually just people that wants to do any kind of a Supras or GTRs, right, want to kind of stay, with thousands, somewhere in that range. So our goal is to actually provide the data to kind of fulfill the gap the customer would have to research on. Like you would have to go into YouTube and hey, type in dyno with Garrett, GT30,
what
just
did
to
it
kind
make?
of figure out what your lineup. Well, with us, we want to kind of give you every data before you even purchase it, so that okay, well with this package, it's kind of going this ballpark figure, right? And then you get to see actual, actions on YouTube or any kind of social media.
So I was at a gas station and I was messing around with my old school American car. I was 93 octane tune. I was putting it in. I pull into the gas station and there was a Supra sitting there. And the guy starts his car up and it's whop, 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 whop. It sounded like it was gonna die. And it was just so wild, and I could smell the fuel across the fuel station. And I get out, it's this Asian guy with his model-looking girlfriend. I go over and I'm like, bro, this thing is sweet. And he said, yeah, the problem is I've got 30 grand just in this motor alone. It's like a 3.1 stroker or some kind of stroker build. Yep. And he's like, it makes right at about 1500 horsepower is where we're at. But I can't turn the traction control off. It has to be on, because if I launch it at any speed on the highway, it's out of control. And he was like, this thing is so fast, I can't keep it on the road unless I'm on a track. And he said, and the other part is, now I'm consuming oil. And I don't know if I'm going to have to go back to the drawing board and rebuild this whole thing and go back through this whole thing all over again, because I'm over the threshold. You're going to expect some on a performance build, but not to the rate he was. He was like, every week I'm losing like a half a quart to a quart of oil. It's really, really, really bad.
Yeah. So our engine program is very unique, and nobody else does this in the industry. So we have actually just every aspect of the data as far as the process of it. So when we hone it, we have a live videos. When we actually do a deck it, we have a live video. When we port CNC and actually all the ports, we have all actually just on live for every serial number that goes on.
Wow.
So you could actually have a QR code, and then actually goes in, and actually have every extra documentations of actually.
So you can order that part and then go watch the video on how it was made.
So that way, as a customer, you wouldn't feel like as HKS Motors or anybody else's. They say, hey, it's because of HKS is actually good, or anybody else is actually because of good. Right. You get to see what the number is, and then now these days everything's on the social media, so they want.
So there's no hidden anything. They can see exactly how their engine was built.
We actually want to teach you guys actually how these numbers are represented, and then also what goes in. That way, actually, just every part that you purchase, everything will be actually there.
So the question now that everybody's going to ask, how much did it cost to build that car?
So this one, just typical. So now these days, Supras are super expensive.
Expensive.
So, but it is actually something that we'll be releasing the actual pricing
Okay.
on this
All right.
loan block actually
All right.
right after the show.
Okay.
So we'll have actually all the catalogs and stuff on it. It's just,
Same with the other one too.
Yep. So GTRs and all will be released
Wow.
just shortly after.
So this is a completely carbon fiber car.
Yep. It is 100% green carbon car. So
Is that going to be something that's available to the public to purchase if they wanted to buy the body or no?
if they wanted to buy a car, then they can. It's just a matter of actually just
Time to put it together, not trying to rush the builder.
No, these would be all actually complete cars. So
Oh.
you could just buy the car and then just not have to worry about it.
So that's the same type of car, just like that, ready to go.
Yeah. So this is actually 8th version. So they have he built actually just from first all the way to the 8th.
Wow.
So there's all that available. The last year was actually just everybody think actually this is actually the same car as last year, but this is
It's a different
he built
car.
every single car and then he imports actually just from Japan
Wow.
all the way into here. So this is the 8th one, and then it has actually our crate motors, which is
Yeah, the 2.8 stroker.
Yep.
And then this one here, obviously, is your car, so we're not getting into that.
Well, this is usually actually for a test card and
Okay.
stuff, but it's again, it's just the
But what if the right number came along? No.
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Oh.
I got two, so I mean,
I met back in 2008 when I was on my mid-tour leave from Iraq. I flew back from Iraq, and I was in Daytona, Florida, and there was a retired Marine there, probably 30 years old, and he saved up a lot of money, and he went out and bought his first Supra. He spent $68,000 on this car because it was like a 950 horse street build. They didn't want to go all out. It still paid $68,000 for this car. It was a pearl white,
yeah.
gorgeous looking, right-hand drive though, not standard like American. He paid $68,000 for that car back then. I wonder this would be ungodly now. The amount of money that somebody would have to spend to buy one of these.
Yeah, it's just like I said, just actually our concentration is actually for the crate motors
More
to go
performance,
in, yeah,
right.
and then basically this actually all this stuff is actually now to discontinue from Toyota.
Right.
So now we have actually this ability to actually get it from Japan and actually bring it in, and then just to have a platform where customer doesn't have to source it themselves.
Right.
They can simply buy one and put it in. And
So you guys are able to get these from. Do you ever see there being some kind of restriction on ordering them from Japan to build them here?
not particularly because we have actually Japan side trust, so
Yeah.
we have to just simply
Okay.
get
That's
it.
pretty cool that you guys can still do that, and you guys can keep that going and
Yeah, definitely.
keep that option available to the customer.
Yep.
I appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Yes, sir.
Well, I hope that suits your guys' fancy for an interview, and I appreciate you guys watching. And yeah, you can still get the 2 engines ordered from Japan. They're testing here, and the GTR can be ordered as a complete car. Who would have thought? Prices will be released after the show. Y'all take care. Be blessed.